Hi, I'm Michael Ruger. I'm the managing partner at Greenbush Financial Group. When we're working with clients to prep for retirement, there's really 5 main things that individuals need to consider to make sure that they're financially ready for retirement. And today we're going to go through those 5 items one by one. Number 1 is know your expenses. Your expenses in retirement are actually going to drive your entire financial plan. So usually the first thing we're doing with clients is we're having them fill out a detailed expense planner of their expenses now, and then we help them to determine what their expenses are going to be in retirement, because your expenses are most likely going to change. Some expenses are going to go up, some expenses are going to go down. Like for example, some people have mortgages in their working years, but the mortgage is going to be paid off by the time they retire. So that could be a big expense that comes off, but you're still going to have property taxes, expenses maintaining the house, water, trash, groceries, all that stuff is probably pretty much going to stay the same. Other expenses that could be drop off are things like contributions to retirement accounts, because now you're retired. You might not be paying on life insurance policies anymore, things like that. But on the flip side, we always ask our questions, well, if you're not working, there's probably something you're doing to fill your day. Are you taking more vacations? Are you dining out more? Do you have more hobbies because you're not going to work every day? That could actually increase your expenses. So we have to be able to determine what those expenses might be, so we know we have enough assets by the time you decide to fully retirement to make it all the way through life expectancy. The second really important item is your decision around Social Security. Are you going to take Social Security early, around age 62? Are you going to wait until your normal retirement age, which for most people is around 67? Or are you going to delay and let it increase until age 70? The reason why these are so important is you really get one shot at this decision, and it could mean thousands of dollars over your lifetime making the right or wrong decision here. And people really have to factor in more than just, hey, I have some extra income coming in. It's, are you going to be doing anything part-time or retirement that could reduce your benefit before normal retirement age? The survivor benefit rules. Married couples sometimes don't realize that if one of the spouses pass away, you lose one of the benefits and you get the higher of the two. So by both spouses taking their Social Security early, you have permanently reduced whatever survivor benefit is available to that surviving spouse. The taxation of Social Security, all these other things. Really what I just encourage is people start asking their family and friends, what did you do? Just because someone elected to turn theirs on early or delay until their normal retirement age does not necessarily mean that's the right decision for you. So you really got to do your own analysis and figure out your own Social Security filing strategy. The third is fast forwarding and looking at what your healthcare costs might be once you're in retirement, because it changes dramatically. When you're working all those years, usually you're covered by some sort of employer-sponsored plan, and you just kind of pay your premiums each month for you and your family. Things change pretty dramatically when you turn age 65 and you normally have to go on Medicare. And even though you might have retiree health benefits through your former employer, you still have to know, how do those retiree health benefits coordinate with Medicare? Because it could determine some of the decisions you have to make regarding those retiree health benefits with your employer. Because for some individuals, when they retire and go on Medicare, their health insurance costs actually go up because Medicare has costs associated with it, and monthly premiums, deductions, co-payments. And then most people will also get a supplemental plan to fill in the gaps that Medicare doesn't cover. So what's that cost? So again, it goes back to that expenses that we were talking in the first part, that health insurance is usually a really big piece, but we have to know based on what's your health history, medications you're on. We have to be able to fast forward that to say, what are the health decisions you're going to make in retirement so we can really forecast those costs? The fourth is, do you have enough assets to retire? Like plain and simple. What we do is, again, we total up your expenses and say, look, you're going to need $60,000 per year. You're each going to get $20,000 per year from Social Security, but that leaves $20,000 that has to come from somewhere else, which is usually your personal savings, your 401ks, your IRAs, stuff like that. So we actually have to say, if you're retiring at 65 and we put you at a 90 life expectancy, that pool of money that you have sitting in your 401k now has to last you for 25 years. So we have to look at that and say, spend down those assets. And where people make the largest mistake here is they say, oh, my expenses are $60,000 per year. So I'm going to do a quick Excel spreadsheet, run the math. What they forget about is inflation of those expenses. So the expense of everything historically goes up by 3% per year. That's why our property taxes go up, health insurance costs go up, gasoline, food, everything. And if you don't factor that in correctly, that $60,000 in today's dollars might be $70,000 just to buy the same stuff 10 years from now, but people forget to do that math to say, oh yeah, inflation goes up, so I'm probably going to have to take larger withdrawals from my retirement account later on. And we just have to make sure before you pull the plug and say, I'm going to officially retire, that there's enough assets there waiting for you. Otherwise, we have to look at alternative solutions like, well, you might have to work part-time, you might have to work another year, we might have to find another solution to get you across the finish line and get you to retirement. The fifth and final item is, where are we actually drawing the assets from to supplement your retirement income? Because you might have IRAs, Roth IRAs, savings accounts, all of these things, and it actually matters where those assets come from to help you maximize your assets over the long term, because taxes don't stop when you retire. So we really have to look at your picture and say, when you retire, this is going to be your income level, this is where your Social Security or your pension is going to be. You should really start drawing assets from maybe after-tax sources first, let those IRAs keep building, and then later on we will start accessing those IRAs at hopefully a lower tax rate. For other individuals that are potentially going to have big requirement of distributions when they hit age 72, we might say, we're purposely going to start taking distributions from your pre-tax IRAs now to help level out that tax liability over the course of the next 20, 25 years over your lifetime. So it's not enough just to say, hey, I have this pool of all these accounts. It's also super important to understand from a tax standpoint and strategy standpoint, where is the best source to draw from first as you enter retirement. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions at moneysmartboard.com. Thank you.